Hi everybody, I'm Cassie. I would like to begin by sending blessings to everybody on the planet. And this video is about Loosh. Ancient cultures were very aware of the hidden forces influencing our reality, our world, the suppression of knowledge and the corruption of science. Our modern world is caught in limited 3D reductionist thinking and view of life and reality. Our technological processes at a cost of developing our inner technology, our mind, body, split by design, which cuts us off from our full potential as well as our ability to perceive these forces. All of our unresolved issues within are gateways for hyperdimensional interferences and suggestions which influence our behaviours and our actions, leading to such things as addictions and hanging out with the wrong crowd of people that are not good for us, all which enforces this feeding loop. And because of their manipulation of our desires and emotions, these entities have the ability to control groups and even crowds and feed off the loosh, and they control this in a way by leading people to worship or admire gurus, priests, celebrities or politicians, for example. So what is Loosh? Loosh is a life force energy, spiritual energy, it's simply energy, and this is the energy familiar to us as emotional energy, both happy and unhappy. Loosh is a terminology of rare usage, and this word was created by Robert Monroe. He was referring to the emotional energy radiated by animals and humans in dire circumstances that entail intense, severe pain and suffering in the body and psyche. So this older usage describes a negative experiential spectrum. This term loosh is not a new discovery, rather it was simply Monroe identifying and naming a metaphysical, alchemical phenomenon that has always existed. And spiritual energy simply is. And since many centuries ago, perhaps even millennia, Loosh was developed and exploited as dark multi-dimensional occult art and skill, and was utilized by secret societies and then raised to a zenith in our electronic era. As the type of spiritual energy identified, Loosh has been capitalized upon by the secret services and black ops and exploited as a social engineering utility by these interdimensional negatives. Most of humanity on the planet's surface has forgotten its divine origin, its divine roots, and all events that are happening on our planet are those which connect each person with a divine being, and this is because it is through experiencing changes that occur the greatest transformation. Earth is essentially of the earth plane and the lower dimensions, and the trauma energy of the human and animal emotional body. A good example of this is via the cruelty imposed upon and endured by the animal kingdom, and also the brutality of the abattoir. Negative emotional energy, especially the energy of pain, trauma, stress, abuse and suffering, considered a dreadful illusion. This is because it contains heightened molecular content, organic and hormonal adrenaline, cortisol cascades, and this causes through the quantum dynamics of the blood, body and brain systems. Under such intense extremity of trauma, the blood and the flesh for the negative entities is highly enriched and therefore highly prized. Not only is this loosh highly coveted, but most crucially of all, it is absolutely necessary for most negative entities. And the reason for this is for them to be able to facilitate existence in the earth planes, and this includes the ability to hold the human form, and this is so they do not slide into shape-shifting. And the reason we may be witnessing the shape-shifting in humans on television and in the media is because humanity is increasing its frequency, its vibration, and this is in part from global prayer, and also because through technology meant to entrap us, We are instead becoming more connected as a collective than we have ever been. And this collective energy of love helps to lift this veil of deceit, and finally their disguises are dissolving, and this may in turn indeed be the reason so much pain and suffering has been orchestrated upon humanity in mass all over the world. And due to vibrational differences and frequency levels, there is a fundamental physiological incompatibility, and our negative Loosh neutralizes this for them. And as well as this, our Loosh also enhances their energetic stamina and function while on the earth in the lower dimensions. Anything and everything within society can be manipulated through mind control, as well as social programming to cultivate negative Loosh. For example, in our cheerful, mundane, day-to-day experience, as well as our ordinary, unhappy life, and to harvest it in the premium form of blood and flesh, via the terror of ritual sacrifice, human and animal are and have been acutely exploited through the centuries and millennia. It is important also to note that even the seemingly happy, positive emotion can be twisted and turned into ultimately negative experience, personal and collective. And to explain this, there is a common consensus belief, as well as an acceptance that with the good times will come the bad times. This is a belief programmed and inculcated false reality, engineered and promulgated by our social institutions. The programming, "you will reap what you sow," helps you endure your hardships, and this is because you trust that all will be fine in the end. Over 70% of the people on our earth have artificial consciousness running their lives. All are well-meaning people, but unconscious servants of the dark. It is believed that the collectors of Loosh have evolved an entire technology with complementary tools, and these are for the harvesting of this precious Loosh from the type 4M units, more popularly known as humans. And the most common of these tools have been named love, friendship, family, greed, hate, pain, guilt, disease, pride, ambition, ownership, possession, sacrifice, and on a larger scale, nations, provinces, wars, famines, religion, machines, freedom, industry, and trade, just to name some. And so it is not surprising to know that Loosh production is higher than ever before. So in ending, we often ask, why would a good God build a world where the only way to survive is by taking life? How long would we survive if we chose not to eat? We may love animals and grow gardens at our homes, but every time we eat, we destroy the life of something, and something which contains a consciousness that feels and desires to live as we ourselves do. There is this insidious thread woven throughout biological life, being that we are born, we feed, and we die. Life is the process of consuming other living things in order to stay alive as long as possible, until death itself consumes us. Eating is a requirement for biological life, and it is the chain that holds together material existence, binding us to this law of consumption. So again, we may ask, what kind of God or gods would create a world predicated on killing? Was it really a God of love? Well, according to much evidence, it wasn't, and the world was created by something else. And if this were not the case, then it was possibly created by someone else and then tampered with by someone that is so merciless that creation barely resembles the original divine vision. So basically, the biological universe is controlled by the law that we must take life or die. It seems quite sinister if you think about it. And thank you very much for taking the time to listen.